The Aquarium of the Pacific is hosting its 10th annual poetry contest as part of the Urban Ocean Festival. This year, all poems submitted must address the theme, Thriving in the Anthropocene. Over the past 3 weeks, you have learned how to brainstorm, both with peers as well as individually. You've also learned brainstorming techniques like bubble mapping, listing, and bulleting. You also learned about drafting techniques and about different types of poems that exist, such as a sonnet, haiku, free verse, and rhyme. You went over figurative language and discussed how incorporating it into your poem will breathe life into it. Such figurative language covered included simile, metaphor, personification, and imagery. By now, you should also know that the Anthropocene is the current geological age viewed as the period during which human activity, I'll repeat, human activity, has been the dominant influence on climate and the environment. The objective for this week is as follows. By the end of this 21-minute video, students will learn 4 causes of human activity that are leading contributors to the destruction of our planet. Students will also learn how to put into practice 4 environmentally friendly behaviors that can slow this process down, and analyze content from Nikki Grimes' book, Bronx Masquerade, to demonstrate how your surroundings can inspire you to write a powerhouse poem for the 2020 Urban Poetry Contest. Part 1. Understanding the problem. We will be in the Anthropocene for as long as there are humans on Earth. That is why it's very important to figure out how to live in greater harmony without further destroying our amazing planet and its incredible wildlife. Here are 4 leading human activities that are of great concern. Deforestation is among the most detrimental activities we as humans are doing to cause, accelerate, and exacerbate climate change. Cutting down forests, or worse yet, intentionally burning them, releases insane amounts of carbon chemicals into the atmosphere. It also simultaneously eliminates one of the best natural air cleaning systems the planet has supplied us with, which are those very same forests. Forests cover about 30% of the planet's landmass and are home for an incredible array of animals. They are mitigators of floods and stewards of the fresh water cycle. They help to build soils and balance the global ecosystem. We need to stop destroying our natural resources. Human existence depends on it. Plastic pollution. It has become one of the most pressing environmental issues of our time. Single-use plastics like plastic cutlery, water bottles, straws, plastic bags, food wrappers, and styrofoam containers are killing our marine and wildlife. According to the National Geographic website, more than 5 trillion pieces of plastic are already floating in our oceans. So many species of marine animals have been reported to have eaten and died from plastics. Some become entangled in it and suffer greatly as a result of it. Worldwide, 73% of beach litter is plastic. Plastic bags, bottles, and other items take approximately between 450 to 1,000 years to decompose. Sometimes it can even last forever. As of 2015, more than 6.9 billion tons of plastic waste had been generated. Around 9% of that was recycled, 12% was incinerated, and 79% accumulated in landfills or environment. We need to bring awareness to this issue. Spread the word. Use your poetry to write about these global catastrophic issues. There's nothing more essential to life on Earth than water. Water is one of our most precious resources. Every single person in the world needs water to survive. Without fresh water, you will die in just a few days. Water is life. Yet, from Cape Town to Flint, Michigan, and from rural sub-Saharan Africa to Asia's teeming megacities, there's a global water crisis. Water covers 70% of our planet, and it is easy to think that it will always be plentiful. However, fresh water, the stuff we use for drinking, bathing, and irrigating our farm fields, it's incredibly rare. Only 3% of the world's water is fresh water, and 2/3 of that is tucked away in frozen glaciers or otherwise unavailable for our use. As a result, some 1.1 billion people worldwide lack access to water. Fossil fuels. According to the website BuzzFeed, thousands of scientists around the world declared a climate emergency and warned of untold suffering. Fossil fuels like coal, crude oil, and natural gas is what helps us propel our cars, keep the lights on in our homes, and light up our stoves and heaters. As a result, critical wildlife habitats end up fragmented and destroyed. Fossil fuels also emit harmful air pollutants like carbon monoxide, mercury and sulfur dioxide emissions, and nitrogen oxide. We are killing ourselves. We need to stop polluting Earth. We need to focus on saving our planet. Assessment 1. Number 1. Name 4 discuss human activities that contribute to the decay of our planet. Number 2. How does deforestation affect the ecosystem? A. Air pollution, B. Ocean pollution, or C. Plastic pollution. Number 3. Define Anthropocene.
Alright class, welcome back to the second part of the series of living in the Anthropocene. In the first part of the series, you learned about 4 major leading contributors to the destruction of the Earth, which were plastic pollution, deforestation, fossil fuels, and water scarcity. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys some preventative measures so we can help save the Earth a little bit at a time. Right here is the perfect place so I can show you a prime example of one of the leading causes to the destruction. There's a plastic bag right there in the ocean. Someone could have easily used that, recycled it, and used it for their next shopping trip, but yet they haven't watched my video, so I'm going to show you guys some cool new things. Let's go to a better setting so I can talk a little bit more about this. Let's head to the aquarium. Class. Before we get to the aquarium, I just want to talk to you a little bit about deforestation, and I figured this would be the perfect spot to talk about. So when we think about deforestation, we think about all the industrialization and all the forests being cut down to make room for more parking structures, for more buildings, for more houses and things like that. And as much as it benefits people for housing, it's really hurting the environment, and we need to do our best to prevent this from happening. Now, one thing that we notice while we're here is that there's so many bugs. You can't really hear from over there, but even now there's like a bunch of things crawling around. And it's supposed to stay that way. But like, we're not supposed to smash bugs, we're not supposed to kill all these things that are supposed to maintain the ecosystem. So anything that we can do to do our part, we should do that. And like even now, like I said, a prime example, right here we see all this grass, all these bugs. Look, some of it's dead, but nature. So let's look at the difference between here and what has been turned into. A huge parking lot. There's not even that many cars in it. There's literally not. but this is the difference from what it got turned into to what it was before. Alright guys, now let's make our way over to the aquarium. Alright, as we cross this huge parking lot that was built for so many people to use, yeah right, we'll talk a little bit about fossil fuels. Now in the last video you learned a little bit about it and how detrimental it can be to the environment. And here we're going to learn a prime example of it as I'm going to show you guys the dock and how it can impact the beaches and the people that live in the community around it. So, give me... 4 years ago, this beach was shut down and people weren't allowed to swim in it. It was so dirty, and after so many concerned citizens raised their concerns to the city council, they finally made a change and cleaned it up, and now people are able to swim in it. But a major factor and the reason why it got so dirty was due to the lack of regulations on these boats that are allowed to come in and out of the port. Like, so many of these boats were allowed to come into the water, and all of their engine oils and all the stuff that wasn't being regulated would spill into the ocean, and not only harming the people that were swimming in it, but also the wildlife. Like, there's gonna be more of this, more fossil fuels covered in the next segment, so let's just head over to the aquarium. Welcome to the aquarium! We finally made it, guys. Alright, while we're here, I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about plastic pollution and recycling. I have a little classroom set up, so follow me over there so I can teach you a little bit of something. But like, one good thing that I will say for plastic pollution is to get reusable water bottles. These are magic. Your water, cold for a day. Hotness, half a day. It's okay though. It's hot. Nobody wants it hot all day. So I'll teach you a little bit more. Come with me. Well, come take a look at this. Perfect time to talk about water scarcity. Look at this. Here's my hydro. Someone bought a water bottle and just threw it on the ground in this plant, but didn't even have the decency to dump it out. Talk about water scarcity. There's the little things you can do. We obviously can't drink it because of the germs, but at least we can save the environment a little bit. But like, since we're talking about water scarcity, we're gonna talk a little bit more about it in the next segment, but I'll tell you a few tips and tricks. Some of these tips and tricks include taking shorter showers, watering your lawn and grass only once a week, and also not leaving the water running while you're brushing your teeth. But let's move on and continue talking about plastic pollution and recycling. Save this for later. Okay. So, recycling. I'm sure we all know what recycling is, but let's review. Some common recyclables that we see on the daily basis are water bottles and soda bottles, and other things like milk jugs, detergent bottles, and soap bottles. Glass can also be recycled as well, and usually it's in bottles. Metal can also be recycled, like cans and foil. Now for paper, there's another bucket designated for this, which is the green one that we all have outside our house. Common paper recyclables include cardboard, magazines, newspaper, and wood. Now, some common plastics that people tend to throw in the recycling, whoop, got stuck there, are things like food containers, plastic bags, yogurt cups, plastic film, utensils, and straws. Now, just because these things are plastic doesn't mean they're reusable and can be thrown in the recycle bin. Other miscellaneous plastics that are thrown in the recycling bin that are meant to be in the landfill are things like condiment packets, candy wrappers, snack bags, milk cartons, styrofoam, and tape. All of these things labeled here are meant to be thrown into the trash can and not the recycling bin. So, if you just remember a few of these tips and tricks about where it goes where, we can all save the environment just a little bit at a time. But speaking of time, I'm running out, so I gotta go. I'll leave you on, and hopefully you enjoy the next section. All right, see you guys later. Oh wait, before I go, don't forget to recycle.
Are we doing it? We're filming right now? Hold on. Let me clean up then. What? Let me just. I think we're ready. No? Why not? Cycling. You're right. Okay, yeah, we're recycling. Whew, thanks for reminding me.
Eventually.
Now we're ready. Okay, so last I heard, you guys were talking about deforestation, cutting of the trees, too many birds around. Where are the birds? Caw. Nah. I also heard that you guys were talking about plastic pollution. But, you know, I can't demonstrate that here. Let's go somewhere. Wait for me, my friend. Welcome back. We're here at the Long Beach Aquarium. Look at this beautiful fish. This is a blue puffer fish. Best thing they got here is they're happy alive fish. Because you know what happens when you drink and use plastic? That's plastic pollution. Too much of that. And you get dead fish.
Alright, so we had a great day at the aquarium today. We saw some alive fishies, some dead fishies, regular fishies. So I believe we'll go inside and we'll talk more about the Anthropocene. Oh, we're stuck inside. What? I like it. I like to keep it running. It keeps me warm when I come in the morning. Alright, you're right. Fossil fuels. We gotta save the fossil fuels. So now that we can talk about the fossil fuels. We want to eliminate fossil fuels, right? Make sure you turn off your cars whenever you're not in the car. That's great advice. Another great advice is don't leave the AC running if you're not inside the car either. I think that's it. We'll go inside and then we'll wrap this up, see where we get to.
Alright, I just got out the shower. I like to keep it running. It's like a sauna in here. Ooh. So, after a good day of trying to save the world from the What? It's cold. I'm not gonna brush my teeth with dirty cold. Alright, fine, I'll turn it off. Make sure you turn off your water. Make sure you turn off your water, I guess. Even though it's gonna be cold when you get in, make some sacrifices for the world, because that's what we're trying to save. I'm trying to save the world, and I guess I'm doing everything wrong. Stop the video, dude. Cut. You see me crying, dude. Cut the. So now that we've known about the Anthropocene, the 4 major causes: plastic pollution, water shortage, fossil fuels, deforestation. We understand how and why it is what they do, when they do, how they do. We can now interpolate it into a poem. Because you, as I recall, have been working on your metaphors, your personifications, your similes, and if I believe, from what your professor has told me, it is that you have now a draft poem ready to be written. Doesn't matter. We're gonna get into it. Let's look at this poem from Bronx Masquerade. Okay, it should be on your screen now.
Welcome back. I hope that now that you've read the poem, that you were able to find metaphors, similes, personification, whatever other figurative language you saw there. Now that you've read the poem, though, let's incorporate some components that you feel you can bring from your own experience in life, right? Now I'm gonna give you 15 seconds. Go ahead, think about it. Ready? That should have been about 15 seconds, roughly. Now it should be 15 seconds. Okay, now that you've thought about it, Gabby, tell me what you got. Okay, write it down. Did you write it down? Thank you. In the back, Marlene, what did you get? Maureen, I'm sorry. What did you get? And then, did you write it down? Okay, David. Oh, okay, perfect. So, now that we have everything down, let's move on to the next process. All right, thank you for coming to our video. I heard there's no class. That's why I'm here in the video. I didn't go to class. So if there's class, let me know what happened. Now that we're wrapping it up, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share it with your friends. What do we got? Let's give shout outs. Shout out to me, because I'm the star. Shout out to Omar, who worked on this video with me. Shout out to Daniel. He also worked on this video with me. Shout out to our cameraman. He's back there somewhere. I hope you guys see him. Okay. You guys learned about the Anthropocene. Make sure that you guys go in the discussion board, answer your questions, okay? If you don't answer, you don't get points. If you don't get points, you don't pass the class. The whole purpose is to pass this class. If you don't pass this class, I'm gonna be stressed out. So you know what? I'm getting stressed. I'm leaving. I don't like it here.